Today I'm going to talk about processing libraries, how to install and use, and some features of external libraries that you can add to the processing programming environment. Let's go ahead and open up processing then. One of the ways you can add libraries is from within processing. So if you open up your processing environment and you go to, I believe it's Sketch, or perhaps it's Tools. Maybe it is Sketch, and import library. And then you add library. You can, go, and I think if you're online, I think you need to be online. If you're online, you can find various things and look around and see if there's, so this is interesting, create interactive maps. So let's go ahead and add that. I don't have that installed. Everyone loves maps. And you can install your library right from there. Okay, so now that's installed. And then a couple of features of libraries is once you have a library installed, you can go to examples. And if the library included some examples, you can go find them. So this unfolding maps, I just installed that. And it's in here under the heading of contributed libraries. You have these Java examples, and you have a couple different categories. And then the category of contributed libraries have all the ones I've downloaded here. And then you can go within unfolded maps and then look at an example. So if I double click there, it brings up this bike objects map. And if I just run it, hopefully it works. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And that's really interesting. I'm not sure exactly what this is referring to. Somewhere in the UK, British Museum Bloomsbury. In any case, it's very interesting. I imagine these are these bike routes or something like that then. But there's all kinds of examples here. You can pop out, I don't know. What looks interesting? Circular map snapshot app. Wow, very interesting. Okay. So, obviously I haven't looked very carefully at what these are and what you do, but they basically often well commented and give you some ideas of what that library does. All right, so that's one way of installing libraries, and there's loads of them. But let's actually have a quick look here at processing. And if you go to libraries, you can see the sort of basic libraries that are included with processing, and then you can see these contribute libraries sorted out by category. So 3D animation, compilation, GUI, geometry, hardware, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and then if it's not here, oftentimes there's libraries lying about too that might not get mentioned here in this index, but this is a good place to start. All right, let me just show you then a manual way of loading libraries, just so we can understand that. So let's see. Let's look for, SoundCloud. Okay, let's do a SoundCloud processing here. If we go to here, we can go into this index and just click that, and they'll probably take us to the, he has a GitHub page. That's great. Oh, and then you can use a SoundCloud API process. Very interesting. I haven't really done that. So I guess this is the library here, and we're going to just download that as a zip. I'm going to have to explore this myself. All right, and wait. Oh, it's done. Okay. So if I go ahead and open that up, I can open that in the Finder. Now I have this. Let me just double check and see what this is. Okay, yeah, that's the actual library. Okay. So if you have the actual library here, where it was, SoundCloud processing master, that one there. And if I open, oops, that's not what I meant to do. If I open my documents folder, okay, and find in your document. So Windows and Linux, it's quite different, I'm sure, but there's some pretty detailed instructions on how to do that. But I'm going to show you for Mac OS. So if you find within your documents folder, if you find the processing folder, there should be one there. If there isn't, you'll just create it. And then within this, you'll have another folder called libraries. Again, if it's not there, you can just create that folder. And then you just drag that downloaded file and make sure it's the actual file structure. Some of them, for example, OSCP5 has a folder within a folder. You know, if there was another folder in here that said SoundCloud, then maybe I would drag that folder in. And oftentimes they come with like a README or something. They'll tell you how to install it. And also, I imagine I could have auto-installed this from the processing app itself. So if I just drag that into libraries there, okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and restart. Get rid of all these and restart my processing. I should have some kind of SoundCloud library there. Let's look at contributed things and see if there's any ooh, doesn't look like any examples. Maybe there's just no examples there. Okay, well, we can actually just, go back into the Finder and look actually at the documents to see what happened here. Libraries, could be that I installed it improperly. It could be a lot of different things. But, all right, maybe it's this actually. No, that's the jar. Okay, so let's look at examples. Let's see if there's E1 Basic. Let's see if it runs. Oh, okay. So maybe the structure isn't right. Maybe it didn't get added properly. I guess it would be worth looking at the README then. No, I did it right. Okay, well, it looks like what had happened was there was folders within folders. Hopefully this works. There was another folder within this master folder. Sometimes this happens and it's just a bit of sleuthing around. There was one called download and then this download zip. And then apparently that is my library right there. It says called SoundCloud. And I'm sure he explained that in the README. Just didn't have the patience to read it. So I'm going to copy that SoundCloud into this pile right there. And then again, restart my processing. Well, I guess I already did. And let's see if that worked this time. Otherwise, I'll probably restart this video. SoundCloud. Very good. And then there's E1 Basic here. You can run that. And it looks to be some sort of SoundCloud kind of reader. Oh, it's taking a long time. I think it could be I have this network issue here. My network is a little bit slow, so if I shut that off. Shut my network off. Aha. There it goes. Well, in any case, this wasn't about getting the SoundCloud API working. It's more about showing you libraries. So maybe I'll give up there. Apparently there's a bunch of errors and such. And I'm sure if I looked into it more, I could figure it out. But in any case, this is a kind of an interesting one. So if you do go searching around, oh yeah, there's permissions and all kinds of things. You might want to check out the SoundCloud API and see what it does, actually. I guess you can load different, within processing, load different SoundCloud tracks and such like that. I'm going to have to explore that, maybe put up a tutorial. But in any case, that's how you manually install libraries. That was a long, roundabout way of getting to there. So you download it, unzip it, figure out what's the actual thing you install, and then it's just copy it over to Documents, Processing, Libraries. If we make the path like that, maybe we can see Documents, Processing, Libraries. Drag that, pop that in there, and then it'll be available to you within Processing. Okay, so let me wrap up this tutorial and simply say that just to summarize that we talked about how to install external libraries within processing that quite well enhances your abilities of processing. You can use in the sketch folder, import library, add library. That's probably the best way to do it. And it'll just go ahead and add your thing. Or if there's other ones that aren't part of the add library bit, you can find them and install them manually by sticking in libraries. And as well, there's a couple extra features. For example, the examples folder, which will list the examples that came with that library if there are any. Oh, maybe one other mention, simply just to say, because this often doesn't get covered, just to say that you have within most libraries sort of a Java reference. If you look in the reference, it's like an HTML business. And if you double click the index, it's almost always index. It'll bring up a Java docs. So it's basically just a manual, basically, of the whole library. It tells this all the methods, all the functions, everything, and how to use things. It's the kind of great reference. So that typically is within each library. There's some sort of reference, and you would just find the Java docs. Okay.